And he gets taken to the hospital. And after examination, the doctor says, "What's wrong? Because we can't find anything wrong with you. You seem like you are hungry." Temba says, "Yeah, I've been wearing a mask for 2 weeks now." Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams. And I hope your COVID does not make you wear a mask and forget to eat. Thank you very much for choosing to join us tonight. I'm suddenly feeling slightly warm. I think it's a sign that we're going to get a chat with, that says, fellow South Africans, you can go now and play and have fun and buy wine. I can't wait for that statement. So, on the basis of your requests, a lot of people, I've had a few guests here, including Zara Roji, and yesterday when I had Nolu Babalo, Nyati, people were asking about U.I.F. So we thought, let's deal with this U.I.F. Let's get to understand this U.I.F. because currently with this COVID, there's something even called U.I.F tears. Now I don't know what that is. I'm just a broadcaster. I'm Temba, I'm that guy. So I thought I'm gonna bring an expert because people who know these things can help us understand it. I want you to join. I want you to ask questions. Please invite anybody who could be impacted by U.I.F issues, but who also wants to know for the future. I want to know. I'm my own employee. I need to know how I can claim back U.I.F from what I pay myself or do not pay myself from time to time. So from FC Accountants, Nico Venter is joining me. And Nico, good evening to you. I've been torturing the name of your business, calling it PC. I'm sorry about that. It is FC Chartered Accountant. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Rams. It's a pleasure being with you.
Angana McKennis, I'm going to say, I know that line.
Goeiedag. Goeiedag.
Let's start at the top, Nico. Let's really start at the top. And I'm going to ask you the most basic of questions. What is U.I.F?
Okay, so U.I.F is a Department of Labor initiative. It's called the Unemployment Insurance Fund. So it's for people that's unemployed at the stage of their lives where they can claim back if they contributed to the fund.
And how much do they contribute to the fund?
Usually it's all the time. It's 1% of your salary, your monthly salary. And then your employer is also supposed to give 1% of your salary to the U.I.F fund.
Is it 1% of my gross or my net salary?
It's always gross, 1% of your gross.
Great stuff. Now, how much does that cover me when, and I hope nobody gets into a situation, but people do get into unemployment. How much does 1% or 2%, let's put it that way now that the employer is also putting a percent, how much of that does it cover me and for how long?
Usually it's for 3 to 4 months. It could be more. It depends on how much you distribute and for how you contribute and for how long. And the maximum amount you can claim back per month is 14,480.
Irrespective of how much I earn.
It depends on how much you earn. So if you were an employee that earned 6,000 Rand, you would not get more than 6,000 Rand a month back, but you can get up to 14. So if you're more than that, if you earn 17, 18, you won't get 17 or 18 from the fund.
Gee, there's a few people watching us here, Nico. They were taking home 60,000 Rand, so they can only get maximum 14 odd.
Yes, usually that was the case.
How do I claim when that horrible moment has arrived? I've been retrenched, I've been laid off. What is the process of claiming?
Okay, it's actually really easy. When you are retrenched or you don't have a job or you go on maternity, you just need to fill out a form. It's called a UI-19. And the form is available on the website of the Labour Department. You fill it out and you give your reasons, and then when we're not in lockdown, you would have taken it to the U.I.F office to start the claim process.
And now, because we're in lockdown, there's something different. Now I've been seeing UIF with 4 letters after that. Don't know whether they call it as a TERS or TERS. What is that? What does it mean?
Okay. So U.I.F. TERS, it's called U.I.F. TERS, and it stands for Temporary Employment Relief Scheme. It's a relief scheme that the government made available when we went into lockdown, and it's to help people that's struggling in this lockdown time, going from level 1 to level 5. It depends on when you are essential. And if your employer is not able to pay you, the employer needs to apply for the TERS scheme.
Oh, so even the employer can do that on my behalf.
Yes, the TERS scheme is only available for the employers. They need to claim on behalf of the employees. The employees cannot claim by themselves. It's an employer platform that needs to register on the website, and then they need to submit all the documentation. So the process needs to start from the employer's side, not the employee.
But the money would come from the same UIF that we've always had, the fund that is sitting with the Department of Employment and Labor.
That is correct, yes.
Yesterday, and I think about last week, some people were on the platform and they were saying, well, our employers have applied for this thing, but it's been almost a month and we haven't heard. Do you know how long it takes? I mean, I don't want to speak for government, it's not your problem, but how long does it normally take?
I can only speak about experience I have. And if you do everything correct, if everything is fine and your files you uploaded and the information they requested is 100% correct, it can take up to 2 days to pay out. If you've been waiting for a month, then I would say there's something wrong and you need to go back onto the site to see if there's anything, or you need to try and call the TERS COVID line. The line is very busy. There's a lot of people phoning in with a lot of queries. So sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not lucky. But if you applied and you haven't received anything of it, I would assume there's something wrong with your application.
And the advice would be, if I'm an employee, the advice would be I go back to my boss and tell them about it so that they can go back and check what's happening in the system.
Yes, that is correct. The system also, it gets updated a few times a week. So sometimes it's because it's been updated and some information I assume would be lost or not correct. But if the employee wants to inquire, they need to inquire with the employer.
Now, let me throw a little bit of a curveball, Nico. A substantial number of people who watch this channel are self-employed or they run their own businesses, and they also then they pay themselves too. So if I run my own outfit, I'm both proprietor of the outfit and an employee in the books. How does it work then in applying for this?
It's not a problem applying. If you're self-employed or you're a sole proprietor, you can still apply, but you must remember you should have contributed to the fund for, let's say, 3 months. 3 months is the norm to get anything out of or to apply. And you need a valid U.I.F number.
Oh, there is also a U.I.F number.
Yes. You need to register with U.I.F, and you need to oblige by the Labour Department's set of laws and rules and when to apply, but you need to have a U.I.F number.
Let me welcome a few people who are watching us on Facebook. Godfrey Ditlake, Khomotso Machila, Shabani Malose Make, Sinkim Lambo, and Nils Soko is also watching. Oh, Prof, I'm chuffed. And we also have Reggie Ndibuo on Instagram also watching us. How then, Nico? When I listen to you now and you're saying to me, oh, I pay myself, I take home 30,000 rand. And I pay, okay, it's 1%. I do understand it's 1% of my gross salary, and the max I can get is 14 odd. Does it mean that at the same time, employees must then learn to take some kind of a cover for instances like this? Because that cover on its own is never enough.
Yes, under the TERSH rules, you can't even get back 14,000. It was only on the normal U.I.F. The maximum you can get back when you apply for TERSH, I think it's 6,700 rand per employee or if you're a
Yes.
sole pro. I would agree that you need to look at passive income, some income that is not your normal type of income, something on the side. But at this stage, and I'm not sure, you need to talk to your insurer. I don't think there's a product on the market that would cover you in these circumstances. Just staying home and not working. Usually it's
Yes.
with disability or death or retrenchment or those sort of things. So there needs to be a set of rules, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. But yes, if you can, you need to get some cover.
So when I announced much earlier that I'll be talking to you, a friend of mine said, please ask this question. I have been running my own business, paying myself every month and other people in the business, not necessarily affected, not interested in tears, but things are not well now. Could we still apply for the normal U.I.F for now not earning money? Because he says he has not been able to earn money since December last year. But he's been paying U.I.F.
Yes, if he's unemployed or retrenched or anything like that, even maternity, you can apply to the normal U.I.F via the normal U.I.F system, but you can't apply for TERSH. You need to be part of an employer, or still need to be employed to apply for TERSH. And at this stage, it's much easier than applying for U.I.F, the normal U.I.F at this stage.
So the problem with TERSH is that for me, it tends to be focused only on the essential workers and people affected by COVID. And I want to cover the broader one because some of the people watching us may not be in that category, but the people who got retrenched in December and they've not been knowing that they could actually claim for the 1% they've been contributing in their salary.
Yes. You can claim. If you contributed, you can claim. It's just, I think the government's focus on this stage is getting to the employers that couldn't pay their employees. So I don't know on the priority rank how high the priority is. And because you can't go out to the U.I.F office, that's been a struggle for employees that's been retrenched before the lockdown started.
Okay, now they're joining in with cleverer questions than mine. You're gonna hear these questions and these people know what they're talking about. I suppose as I said, I'm just a broadcaster. I don't know these things, Nico. So Etse Nimark, and thank you for joining us, Etse, says, what happens to employees whose contracts ended on 30th of April? As an employer, can I claim for them in TERSH, or do I give them UI-19 for them to claim for themselves?
If the employment contract ended the end of April, for the month of April, you can still claim the TERSH fund relief. Yeah. After that, you need to apply with the UI-19. I think there's a website or an email address, not a website. Yes, maybe the U-filing website where you can try and submit your claims. But like I said, I don't know whether that's on the priority list of the Department of Labour, but you can, after April, then apply for unemployment.
Yvonne Poti Kabeni, thank you very much for joining us. She says, my employer applied for TERSH benefit and the money was paid out. What happens if after that you are retrenched? Do you still qualify for normal U.I.F benefit for 3 to 4 months?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so it doesn't disqualify you because you got TERSH money.
No, your tertiary money is only for April or is only going to be for May. So if you get retrenched after that, you start to qualify for U.I.F, normal U.I.F.
Peter Slavet says, thanks, Nico. You really explain things in an understandable manner. I couldn't agree more with Peter. I promise when I'm done with you here, I probably will be the one invited in other shows to come and explain U.I.F and tariffs. I understand it so well. I could be Nico tomorrow. Thank you very much,
Good,
Peter, for that.
good.
And no, I would never be able to do what you do. That's not my space at all. I'm glad to have experts like you. Let me take you to a place where I think people must hear in the absence of terrorist related questions. A week ago, somebody called on the show and they said, so does it mean those of us who don't pay U.I.F are left out? And I responded by saying, yes, you are. And I wanted to speak to these people about the importance of compliance because it's part of compliance to do these things. Because when days like this come, you realize how important it was. And I just wanted to emphasize that, Nico, why it is important to comply to all these things, the SDF skills funds and the U.I.Fs and all those things.
Okay. I think from an employee side, it's always good to be informed. You need to be informed on what do I need to contribute to, and your employer is actually your way of method. Going to the employer and ask am I not contributing to U.I.F, that raises questions and it opens up a network uh, of exploring and all those sort of stuff. But I think it's important to know you need to do it. You need to contribute to U.I.F because of times like now, or you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and you need to then apply for U.I.F. So you need to contribute to everything that's in the Employment Act. If you are not, or if your employer is not doing it, you need to do something about it. You need to let them know.
How do I know that my employer is not complying?
You will only know that if you inquire. If you are not contributing to U.I.F or something like the Skills Development Levy, you will see it on your payslip. You will see it on your IRP5, which you need to submit to SARS. So you'll know if the employer is not paying the money over to those funds or over to SARS, because SARS is the distributor of all those sort of money. You won't know. It would be a gray area, but it is a criminal offense to deduct it from an employee's salary and not pay it over to the various funds.
And not that they're not committing that crime already. I've been hearing the minister saying a lot of these organizations are doing this. And legally, what could be done? I mean, is it then the responsibility of government? If as an employer I'm not compliant, is it government then responsibility to deal with me? Or could you, as my employee, Nico, sue me or take me to court or get me arrested criminally?
Yes, usually there's two parts. Like I said, SARS is usually the distributor of the money, like U.I.F or skills development, and you need to be compliant at all stages with SARS. So they'll start following up. Why aren't you compliant? Why isn't your return submitted or your money's paid? And they can shut you down or you know. I don't know. They can do a few things to you, but if you, as the employee, realize that is the case, you can go to your labor department and you can go and see like a labor lawyer or anything like that. Any lawyer could help you with that, and you can ask them to take steps against your employer. I won't do it. I first talk to the employer. Your first line of defense is your employer. But if you see that's going to be a problem, then you need to seek some help somewhere else.
Languta, Harriet Machake is in the house, as is Philip Enoch. Philip is in Pretoria, so he's in your neighborhood, Nico. They are all with us. Given Makwakwa asked a very critical question. I resigned. Can I also apply for U.I.F, and what do I need?
Okay. If you resign, it's another story. You aren't unemployed, you chose to be unemployed.
Yeah.
So, with the rules
But I get
of
hurtful,
your,
Nico. I'm angry with you, boss. Can't I be
I know,
protected?
I know, but you had a job and you got paid. I won't resign at this time. To get a new job now would be impossible.
Yeah.
Yes, a nightmare. So if you resign and it's voluntary, you won't be able to claim from the U.I.F fund.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that.
What happens when, like, given I've resigned, I then get another job, but I work for 3 months and I get retrenched. Can I claim, and can I also claim on the money that I used to contribute a while ago?
Yes. Your contributions to the U.I.F fund is linked to your ID number. So it doesn't really matter if you worked 12 months a year for 12 different employers. If you contributed for 12 months and you get retrenched all the time, then you'll be able to apply for U.I.F.
And I hope that there is nobody out there who gets employed every month and they get retrenched every month. That would be very bad for them and their reputation, for starters. Yvonne says, I must tell you, she's grateful. Your insight is very helpful in how you explain things. Is there something else that we need to know about U.I.F in general or U.I.F terms that I have not asked you?
No, I think something about U.I.F which people does not know is when you go on maternity leave, usually it's unpaid leave, and you can claim from the fund while you're on maternity for the women. I think if you are a minimum wage payer, so you don't earn more than 3,500 Rand a month, and you claim from TERS, you'll probably get more than 3,500 Rand a month back. Because of the TERS formula, it makes that you get about 4,400 back. So if you're a minimum wage worker, you can get more out of the TERS fund than you usually do on your normal salary. And I don't think there's anything more. I think if an employer is struggling to claim, to submit, you need to go see a professional or somebody that does the applications, because each day there's been new articles, there's been development on the website, and rather do it sooner than later. Don't wait for it to pass. I think there's still people waiting for the April money, and there's still people applying for April money. So at a stage, it's going to close, and then you need to start preparing for your May payment. At the end of June, hopefully we're all back to work. We're on level 1, and then you need to, that's the last month you can claim. So at that stage, you need to be a well-oiled machine. You need to know if you're going to get your TERS money or not your TERS money, so you can start planning for the future.
Let me welcome Nyeleti on Instagram and on Facebook. Nati Koza is there. It's is back. It's an Nimak says, speaking of compliance, I was employed for 14 years contributing to U.I.F. Then I resigned and started my business and been paying U.I.F for employees. Now with lockdown, no income for my business. So that means no income for me as a sole director. My employees will get from TERS. What about me?
If you are the director and you also contributed, you may also claim from TERS.
Oh.
It's not because you're the director or the owner of the company that you cannot claim for yourself. If you contributed, you can claim.
I will tell you this much, Nico, that I get you, and I'm hoping that people get you. And I see that there are no new questions coming in. That's great. So this is how I like
Yeah.
to end this thing. To show gratitude to my guests, I give you a bit of a moment to tell us about FC Chartered Accountants, what you do, and why would people who are listening to you and I talk to you? Maybe somebody listening to us could be your next client.
Okay, no problem. FC Chartered Accountants is part of a group companies. In FC Chartered Accountants, we specialize in tax and accounting and auditing and every type of compliance we try to help people with. We pride ourselves on giving advice rather than just be a machine that feeds in submissions and returns and numbers and all those sort of things. So we like giving advice and we like helping people grow their businesses. We have other departments as well, insurance, short-term and long-term, investments, short-term and long-term, your financial planning and your wills and your estates, and then also your medical aids and those sort of things. But we're a fairly young practice. We're 5 years, and we're not doing bad. We're doing good. We like helping our clients. We like talking to them. But as you know, we're moving into a digital age, and I think we're going to use digital media and digital platforms more nowadays. So we are trying very hard to be paperless, and that also contributes to the movement going into technology. So we use innovative ways to show people how their finances will work better for them. And we also connect people that need some help on other platforms than tax accounting or insurance. We don't like telling people we don't do that. We like telling people we can get somebody that can help you do that. And then I think feedback is a big thing for us. We give feedback to our clients as often as possible. We're a large group of accountants, and we're also a training center. So we train some clerks, and I think when you learn in accounting, it's more like a lifelong learning. So if you can get yourself an accountant that can explain to you information that usually seems difficult in a good manner, then that's the type of accountant you need to stick with. So yeah, that is basically our motto and our plan and our future plans that we have for FC Chartered Accountants. We also don't not take small businesses, and we concentrate on large, corporate companies. We like the different types of industries and the different types of clients, and it's really interesting for us. Otherwise, our work would just be some calculated sums.
On that note, who's the typical client? Is it individuals? Is it SMMEs? Who are your typical clients?
Our typical clients at this stage would be young startups, people that has a vision and a dream and they want to achieve it, but they don't know how. And it's also the old-fashioned people that seems to want to develop and going into the digital age and everything is online and my accountant helped me do my invoices and all that. So our typical client would be somebody that wants to work with us and that wants to have information at their fingertips.
One last question from me. If I came to you and signed up and gave you my business, could you get me some money back from the taxman every year? A bit of money.
So we're not stealing, but you need somebody that can do good planning. With good planning, you can get back what you deserve, not what you want always, but what you deserve. So with good planning, you can do a lot, much. You can do much more.
Great stuff. So, as I say, somebody's listening and they'd be interested to talk to you. Where do they find your organization? How do they talk to you?
Okay. There's a few, like I said, there's a few channels they can do. We have a Facebook page, FC Financial Services. We have a website, which is www.fcfin.co.za. That's really easy. Or otherwise, if they would like to contact us, our telephone number is 012, now I need to write it, 8071714, or they can ask you.
Certainly, and we're going to put the details on our page and make sure that people can reach you, Nico. And
Okay.
thank you. So look, I hate ending interviews on a bad note, but I'm gonna say to you, unfortunately for you, you stuck with me. Whenever I need advice, I'm gonna be calling you to come onto the show to explain things.
Please do.
You can't
please
say no
do.
because you are lying.
This was very, very good for me as well, and I liked your program so much. I was on the Facebook page the whole day.
Oh, thank you so much, Nico Venter from FC Chartered Accountants. It's been a wonderful time spending with you, talking to you, and I know that we're going to speak again. I know I speak for all our viewers. They really appreciate your advice.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good evening.
You too.
So, folks, thank you very much, and I'm hoping that I spoke for you and I said Nico was helpful. Tomorrow, because you asked for it, Dr. Thando Sibanda is back tomorrow evening. And tomorrow he says he's going to talk to you about making a positive change decision for your business. He says, because we are in this crisis now, people think we must plan for the future after the crisis. It's actually plan for the positive change now. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. with Dr. Thando Sibanda. I hope you join us. No, sorry, I know you will join us. Right? Thank you very much. I know you will join us. You have to join us. Because when Dr. Thando speaks, it gets very, very busy. I want you to be first on the queue. Do subscribe to our page on YouTube and do follow us on Facebook and like the page. The more we get your participation, the more we can reach other people. And do share with everyone what we're doing. Nico has already watched everything we do. You can go watch the other stuff that we've done. From me, Rems Mabote, good night and God bless.